So in Dashakam 36, what happens later after Krishna Vivaham, also few incidents happen when the Lord was there in Dwaraka. Salva Bhaishmi Vivahe Yadubala. Now, Salvaha, he was defeated by the Yadavas during the time of Rukmani Haranam. So once Rukmani was abducted, at that time Salva comes and attacks. He was defeated by the Yadava army. Now, at this time, what happened is when did Salva attack was when the Lord was residing in Indraprastha, when he had gone to meet the Pandavas along with Yudhishthira and Arjuna also. At that time, the Lord was there at Kurukshetram. That's when Shalva ended up attacking city of Dwaraka again. Now here, at this time, what happened is Pradyumna, the son of Krishna, he goes and he stops. He takes the entire army of the Yadavas to fight against Shalva, and he killed the minister of Shalva called Dyumantaha. Tasya Amatyam Dyumantam. This battle that was there lasted for Saptavimshati Ahantaha. This battle between Shalva and Pradyumna lasted for about Saptavimshati, 27 days. During this time, what happened is, as soon as the Lord came to know, along with Balarama, he returns back to Dwaraka. Now, here, if you see this Shalva who was there, he had got a chariot, or you can consider an aerial car also, from Lord Shiva. It was called as Shauba. So, somehow, the Lord and his army also, Shalva's army was entirely destroyed by the Yadavas. The Lord, with his Sharangam, this bow, he fought with, sorry, with this Shalva. One. Now here if you see that Shauba, that car which he had got from Lord Shiva, which Shalva had got, that also was broken into pieces by the Lord and it was thrown into the sea, it seems. Shalva's head was also cut by the Sudarshana Chakra. That's when next Dantavaktra comes to attack. Now this episode of Dantavaktra is important because if along with Shishupala, Dantavaktra also had to be killed. They are Jaya and Vijaya, the two ministers of Vishnu. Three avatars they had to take: Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, and Shishupala, Dantavaktra. So here finally after the death of Shalva, Dantavaktra comes here. He attacks the Lord with his Gadha. And that's when the Lord ended up killing him also with his famous Gadha, Kaumodaki. Like Shishupala, Chaidyavat Prapta Aikyam Chaidiraja. Like Chaidiraja, Shishupala, Dantavaktra also attained Vaikuntham. The purpose of this incarnation, one purpose was also fulfilled. The Jaya and Vijaya three times they have to be born on Bhulokam and both they will be killed by the Lord himself. So that was done, fulfilled. Further, the Lord returns. One now that he had come to Dwaraka, in Kurukshetram, again, the game of dice took place, Draupadi's incident, and she prays to the Lord. She calls out Govinda. That's when the Lord reaches there, and with Karuna, he provides her Chelamala Manantam, endless clothing that was there, the sari, it keeps on flowing. That's when this was one incident wherein he protects Draupadi. Another instance when Durvasa comes to have food along with all other sages, the food gets over. That's when Draupadi again prays to the Lord. She just thinks of the Lord. The Lord again comes to his rescue. How he comes is Shaka Annamashnan. Little bit, one part of a vegetable or so was remaining. The Lord ended up consuming that, and thereby it seems that when the Lord ate that one piece, all others felt that their stomachs were full. So, how the Lord helped Draupadi, that incident is explained in verse 5. Further, what happened is the preparation started for the war. Arjuna asked the Lord to be by his side, said that no, you have to be by my side, you have to guide me. Now, here, that's when Krishna was to be equal on both the sides. And Krishna was told that he will not be a part of the war, in the sense, he will not fight the war actually. That's when he gives an option to Duryodhana saying that you want Narayana, you want Narayani Sena. At that time, Duryodhana said that, what will I do with you, one Narayana? Instead of that, you give me an entire Narayana Sena, that will be better. But he forgot due to his Ajnanam. Duryodhana didn't know that how much ever riches or great army you have, if you don't have the grace of the Lord by your side, nothing will work out. So that's when he ended up choosing the army or the Sena of Krishna, which is called the Narayani Sena. And Narayana was chosen by the Pandavas. That's the reason. Because the Lord was chosen, they got victory. So again, the lesson from this is Riches, possessions also doesn't matter. What ultimately matters is bhakti towards the Lord. In front, if that bhakti or surrender is not there, all other things are waste. There is no use of having. Narayana himself was coming to you. Instead of that, you go and say, no, I don't want Narayana, also you give me something else. It's useless. But that was Duryodhana's Ajnanam that was there. The army of Krishna was given to Duryodhana. That's when. But still here, the Lord acted as a Shanti Dutam. He goes to the to the Kauravas and tells that like a Shanti Duta of the Pandavas. Now, if you see, for the Lord, or in general, if you see, as far as possible, the war should be avoided. So that's the reason, because it affects common people also, a lot of destruction takes place. So, like a Shanti Duta from on behalf of the Pandavas, Krishna goes to meet Duryodhana and he went to Hastinapuram. That's when the words of the Lord were respected by by Bhishma, Drona, or so on. But as usual, Duryodhana did not accept and says that you just give me your Narayani Sena and let's get ready for the war. And that's when the Lord, at this time, he again revealed his the divine form and he returned back to Dwaraka. So it was like the Shanti Duta. It was a duty of a messenger to go and tell that the war can be avoided. Still, Duryodhana, you can make peace with the Pandavas. They are your own cousin brothers. You give them their share also. That is also not possible. 5 villages had to be given. That also, if you cannot give, then the war has to be inevitable. But still, Krishna tried his best to stop the war. As usual, Duryodhana did not listen. War could not be avoided further. Now, here, finally, verse number 6. Very, very important verse, Gita Upadesham. Jishnostam Krishna Sutaha Khalu Samara Mukhe Bandudate Dayalu Khinnam. Krishna became the charioteer, the Sarathi of Arjuna, Parthasarathi. He saw Arjuna very much sad also, with the thought that he has to kill his own cousins, own relations, own people in front of him. That's when the Lord starts a Gita Upadesham saying that whenever you attack, it's just to the external body that you cause harm, Atma inside remains the same. So here, like he tells in Sankhya Yoga, verse number 2, chapter number 2 of the Gita, Vasamsi Jirnani Yatha Vihaya. The same thing is described here also by Bhattatri, wherein he says that you give up all this fear, because whenever you attack someone or kill someone, it's just the body that dies, Atma remains. So therefore, you give up all this fear of killing, you just surrender to me. Just everything will be taken care of me. Fight the war in the righteous manner by following the correct dharma. That's when, by saying so, he finally shows him the Vishwarupa Darshayan Vishwarupam, shows the Vishwarupa form. That's when Arjuna was brought back to a balanced state of mind. Gita Upadesham is described in one verse of Narayanam. Further, Bhishma, he was one of the warriors who was leading the Kaurava army, and it seems that he was killing almost 10,000 warriors every day. Ayuta Sama Adhikam, Ayuta 10,000. He was almost killing 10,000 warriors. Now, Arjuna, it seems that he became very tired, also very helpless in resisting Bhishma. At this instance, what happened is when Arjuna got to know this, Krishna, he forgot his vow. He forgot his promise that I will not take up any weapons also. He rushed towards Bhishma because Arjuna was feeling helpless. Every day, a lot of warriors were being killed by Bhishma. So that's when the Lord, he forgot his vow and he rushed towards him with a Sudarshana Chakram in his hand. Bhishma, as soon as he saw that the Lord was coming him, Bhishma surrendered. Bhishma Sharanagati, verse number 7. Bhishma, he bent his head down and he surrendered with folded hands. Seeing him again, the Lord also, he stopped from attacking and he was also full of joy. So here, this is Bhishma Sharanagati. Further, Drona, he comes on, seated on an elephant, he discharged the Vaishnava missile, Vaishnava Astram, Vaishnava Astram or Narayana Astram, which the Lord took on his own chest, and that's how he saved Arjuna. Arjuna further killed Jayadratha. The Lord hit the sun rays with his Sudarshana Chakram. Again, the Nagastram was thrown by Karna towards Arjuna, and the Lord who was there, every time he protected Arjuna. Arjuna's crown that also got cut off. There also Arjuna was saved. Now, what all? Kimivanahi Bhavan Pandavanam Akarshit. Bhattatri says, what all you did or what not did you do for the sake of the Pandavas, for saving the Pandavas in every instance of the war. Now here Narayaneeyam is just a gist of Srimad Bhagavatam. In that, only one Dashakam talks about Bharata Yuddham. So you have everything in short. In detail, the Mahabharata Yuddham is more, but just important incidents have been mentioned by Bhattatri, mainly instances where Krishna tried to save the Pandavas or the Krishna Leela stories related to that. Further, at the beginning of the war, when the war was just about to begin, Balarama had gone. Yuddhadau Tirthagami Sakalu Haladharaha. Haladharaha, another name for Balarama. He goes on to a pilgrimage to Badrikashramam. First, he covers the area of Naimisharanyam, which is in today's central Bharatam in UP. There, he ended up killing Suta. Kshayakrit Atha Sutam Tatpade Kalpayitva. Here, what he had done is Naimishakshetram Richan Apratyutthayi Suta. Why did he end up killing Suta? Suta is the same character whom we have in Srimad Bhagavatam. Suta Uvacha. Now, why did Balarama kill Suta? Is in Naimisharanyam, an assembly of sages were sitting, and here Balarama killed Suta because Suta did not get up to honor him, it seems. That's the reason Balarama ended up killing Suta. Of course, this is a destiny that was there. Now, here we cannot argue saying that why was Suta killed also, and very important character from Srimad Bhagavatam, but it is again destiny that is there. So, therefore, Balarama ended up killing Suta and he installed his own son in his place. Further, there was an Asura called Valkala who was destroying the sacrifices, yajnas of the sages. He was also killed by Balarama. Further, after completing his pilgrimage, Balarama returned back to Kurukshetra. There, finally, he saw the war between the Gadha Yudham between Bhima and Duryodhana, the famous Urubangam episode. That's when again he returned back to Dwaraka. So, Balarama's description is given in verse number 9. Further, Drona's son who was there, Ashwathama, he had killed the sons of Draupadi, all five sons of Draupadi, when they were fast asleep. That's when Arjuna, he got very angry. As told by the Lord, he put the Brahmastram and clipped. He removed the jewel that was there, Ashwathama. Now here, Ashwathama, now all the five sons of Draupadi were killed. There was no Vamshavali further to extend the Vamsha of the Pandavas. That's when Ashwathama again attacked by sending a weapon into Uttara's Garbham to kill the child inside. The Lord, he protected Parikshit, who was there inside the Garbham of Uttara. He entered in the size of a thumb. Angushtamatra Kilajataram. He entered the womb of Uttara in the size of a thumb with the Sudarshana Chakra in his hand. Finally, what happened is a lot of Dharmopadesham was done to Yudhishthira by Bhishma towards the end of the war. The Vishnu Sahasranama Upadesham also was done. Now, as the Lord was there by his side, Bhishma also attained, Brahman attained Vaikuntham. That's when the Lord finally, he helped Ashwamedhai Tribihi. The Lord helped Yudhishthira to perform three Ashwamedha sacrifices for fulfilling all desires also. And finally, after the Bharata Yuddham, the Lord returns back to Sampraptav Dwarakam Tvam. Finally returns to Dwaraka. Bhattatri concludes his Dashakam by saying, Pavanapurapate Pahimam Sarvarogat. O Lord of Gurvayur, please save me from all kinds of diseases. Describe the Bharata Yuddham also. You went and helped your cousins, friends, bhaktas in during the Bharata Yuddham, kindly free me from my ailments also. With this, Dashakam 86 comes to an end. Next, Dashakam 87. Could everyone follow Dashakam 86? Yes? Yes. Next, Kuchelaha, story of Sudama. Dashakam 87. कुचेलनाम भवतः सतीर्थ्यतां गतः ससान्दीपनिमन्दिरे द्विजः. Kuchela or Sudama, the childhood friend of Krishna, was again a great disciple of the Lord, and both of them had studied together in the ashrama of Sandipani. He was a householder, grihastha, and he spent his days very calmly without any having any desires. Now, like Sudama's wife had not attained that stage. She was always being, now they were living in poor conditions. That's when his wife was always worried that we don't have proper wealth or so, we cannot take care of our family and so on. So that's when one fine day she tells him, Kadachituche padavritti labdhaye ramapatif kim na sakha nishevyate. She tells her husband Sudama that why don't you go to meet your friend Krishna, who has now become the king of Dwaraka. He is a ruler of the three worlds. He will definitely help you. So why don't you go and ask him for some help? Now Kuchela was not much interested, but still, because his wife was pestering and because he also would get a chance to meet the Lord, he goes to his place. So he had more eagerness to meet the Lord rather than asking for help. Now, as an offering, he Vahan Patante Prithukanupayanam, he carries puffed rice or beaten rice, as an offering to the Lord. Finally, Kuchela he reached the city and he enters the house of Mitravinda. Mitravinda, one of the queens of Krishna, and there it seems that he got the same peace Vaikuntamiva like Vaikuntha only. And of course, when Sudama had come, lot of hospitality was offered to him. Sudama became very happy by that. Okay. Further, now the Lord comes running to see his dear friend Sudama. Prapojitam priyaya cha vijitam kare grihitva. The Lord was fanned, Sudama was fanned, and all kinds of good things, also good offerings are made to Sudama by the Lord only. The Lord he held by the Lord and his wife Rukmini Devi, Mitravinda, and so on. Krishna comes running, holds the hands of Sudama. He was very happy on seeing his friend, and they all started talking about the old days. And it seems that at this instance, like they used to do in the Gurukula, similarly here also, the Lord went, it seems, to gather firewood and so on, so that they can recall their childhood days. Here, this Bhattatri describes here, Yat indana artam gurudara choditaif. Yeah. Kuchela, he was feeling very shy because he had just bought some rice or so uh, for Krishna, and Krishna was a king, was there? That too, just a fistful, mushta o sakrit, just a handful of rice was being bought. That's when the Lord he saw, and Kuchela, Sudama was a bit hesitant in offering that, but the Lord somehow came to know and he pulled the same from Krishna, saying that this much is more than enough. That's the reason today also we offer the Aval Nevidyam that is there to the Lord, and the Lord becomes very happy. Again, an incident to show that what ultimately matters is only bhavam that is there. How much quantity doesn't matter, quality or the bhavam that is there. Not even quality, you can say. Bhavam is something which ultimately matters the most. Even though in those conditions, also this thought came to the mind of Kuchela that I should take something for my dear friend. So, this thought itself matters, and that's when further what happens is Sudama and Krishna both stay together. Now, in this condition, what happens is Sudama does not feel like asking to the Lord for some help. He just met the Lord. That itself was a very blissful stage. Next day, without asking anything, he returns back. And when he very happily he stayed there for one night. Now, year after returning back, now Kuchela thinks, what will I go home and tell my wife? My wife had told that you please go and ask for wealth and come. But then he said that forget about all that. Somehow I will tell something and convince my wife. How can I even go and ask the Lord something? He has given me so much, He has given me His blessings. What more do I need? Thinking so, he just convinces himself and he comes. And he tells that I'll go and explain something to my wife if she argues. When he comes back, Manitri Pamalayam. By the time he reached, he saw instead of a small house that was there, a big mansion, a big palace was ready. And that's when he enters the house. He sees his wife decked in ornaments, gems, or so, other ladies waiting by her side to save her, and so on, serve her, and so on. That's when Sudama immediately realizes that Karuna Mahadadbhutam. This is nothing but the Karuna or compassion of the Lord. Finally, he lived there in that mansion along with his family also, and in the end, he attained moksha. Thus, Bhattatri concludes his Dashakam saying that you fulfill the desires of your devotee also, O Lord of Guruvayur, Haraswame Gadan. Similarly, kindly save my ailments also. So, when this Dashakam again concludes with this teach, saying that if we have bhakti also, conditions that we live in doesn't matter. Even a greatest devotee like Sudama also was not in the best of conditions. Of course, that depends on his karma, or everyone's life is different, right? Like to all of us also, sometimes we feel what I'm doing is the best. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm doing everything perfect, but still I'm suffering in life. For that, this is only answer. Life is full of ups and downs. You have one suffering, there will be another person who has 10 more sufferings. Like that, if you look at every person, everyone is having their own set of problems. That's the reason we are human beings, right? This will be God's if we don't have any kind of dukkha. But the Lord helps us to come out of every dukkha, like He helped Sudama. So even people like Sudama also had to undergo such situations that were there, and through such stories, we also get lessons that are there, wherein the Lord definitely comes. On whatever position the Lord is, let him be a great king or let him be the Lord Himself, God Himself who has come, still He receives Sudama with the same humility that is there, and Sudama also becomes happy. Sudama also had to suffer initially, a lot of poverty that was there, but ultimately, with the grace of the Lord, he attains bliss, and whatever is the wishes of his wife also were fulfilled. So, the learning is you do efforts sincerely, the phalam that is received is going to come. If not today, it will definitely come tomorrow. That's the reason Krishna also tells in the Gita, Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Keep doing actions that are there, the result will definitely come. It might take some time, but it will definitely come. Yeah? With this, Kuchela Bhakhyanam comes to an end. So finally, after the meeting of Sudama also, Sudama returns back. Next, Dashakam 88. Ragevacharya putra Ratinishamanaya. Now here, your mother who was there. Now your mother in this reference means Devaki. Now she had heard. Now everything is done. The Lord is living in Dwaraka along with the meeting with Sudama is done. Vasudeva, Devaki are there. So now in this instance, what happens is your mother who was there, Bhattatri says, had heard that the Lord had brought back Sandipani's son, the dead son of Sandipani, back to life. And now there were 6 children who were born before Krishna and Balarama, right? So 6 children were born to Devaki, all were killed by Kamsa. The seventh Garbham that was there was transferred to Rohini Garbham. Ashtama Garbham is the Lord. So now she also wanted that no, my 6 sons also should be made alive. Sandipani's son was brought alive by you. Therefore, you should ensure that all your elder 6 brothers should be made alive. Devaki prayed to the Lord. That's when, by listening to the words of his mother, he went to Sutala Lokam, one among the 7 Narakas. So Tala, Vitala, Talatala, Patala, and so on. So one among the Narakas that are there, Sutala Lokam, there. Now, who's the lord of Sutala Lokam? Anyone knows? One, Mahabali. So Mahabali was ruling over Sutalalokam greatly. He was honored by Mahabali. So Mahabali got the darshana of the Lord, 2 avatars. One is Vamana Avatara and one is again Krishna Avataram. Of course, there can be many other references too. These are two main incidents. From there, the Lord brought back the 6 sons who were originally, they were all Marichi's sons, the sage Marichi's sons, and they were all actually later born to Hiranyakashipu also due to a curse given by Brahma. And further, they were born as the sons of Devaki and Vasudeva who were killed by Kamsa. Thus, the Lord, once again, he brought back those sons and took all of them to Vaikuntham. Further now, the Lord, after blessing Devaki, also after fulfilling the wishes of his mother Devaki, next he went to a Brahmana called Shrutadeva. Shrutadeva iti Shrutam Dvijendram Bahulashvam, and he also met a king Bahulashva in Mithilapuri. So basically, this Dashakam talks about how the Lord went, showed his Leelas, blessed many people, fulfilled the desires of his devotees, and so on. So, in short, you have everything. Now, to the house of this Brahmana Shrutadeva as well as to the house of this king Bahulashva. The Lord went at the same time, assuming 2 forms. So, two similar identical forms, and then the king also worshipped the Lord also. Now he's a king, right? So he made a lot of rich royal offerings also. And at the same time, the Brahmana who was there, he offered whatever Yatha Shakti he can, fruits, rice also. The Lord was equally pleased with both of them, and both of them got Tulyam prasedita, Tulyam meaning equally. He was pleased with both of them got moksha. So the point of highlighting verse number 3 is you are a great king or a Normal person, life doesn't matter at all. Whatever you offer to the Lord in front of the Lord, everything remains the same. The Lord accepted both. The phalan to both also remains the same. Both of them attain mukti. Further, the Lord returns back to Dwaraka. There was a Brahmin whose children also had just died as soon as they were born, it seems. As usual, like any other parent, the Brahmana who was there was wailing. And at that time, the Lord who was there, one, he went and he consoled the father, that is a Brahmana, and told him that this is nothing but faith. This is your fate, that is their destiny. Nobody can change that. Therefore, you don't cry over this. That's when, one second, hold on. Little, that's when the Lord again blessed this Brahmana also, whose children had just died. He also showed him the ultimate reality of life and gave him an abode in Vaikuntha. Further, now here at this instance, what happened is the people of Dwaraka, now to this Brahmana who was there, he just told, no, this is fate, also you have lost your sons and so on. And here it seems that Arjuna also was there at this time in Dwaraka. And he was a bit, he didn't like the way the Lord was behaving. He felt that only with this Brahmana, the Lord was being a bit indifferent. For all others, let it be Sandipani's sons, let it be Devaki's 6 sons also, everyone was brought back to life. Why the Lord was not doing this to the Brahmana? To this Brahmana, he's just simply saying, this is what is your fate also. He's just giving up. It seems that Arjuna, Manujadviya, verse number 4. Arjuna also felt, it seems that as if the Lord is just a mere human being. Maybe he's not like the universe calls him as Lord of the three worlds or so. Maybe he's not that. So this was when Arjuna did not like this behavior, and he told that now what will happen is, and people also began to speak ill about the Lord. Oh, this is just a mere human being, this, that also. And he did not. Now, this Brahmana who was there, he had lost 8 sons. 8 sons, that is 8 babies. Immediately they were born and they died. And at that time, now Arjuna and people, everyone started talking ill. Arjuna didn't actually talk ill, but he had also developed this feeling that it's obvious, right? To everyone, if you're blessing in a different way, and to one person, if it's you're not doing it the way you do, it obviously it creates a question mark. That's when Arjuna was also there, and now the ninth child was born to the Brahmana. That child was also lost. Now at this, Arjuna was there. He was completely moved. He said, "No, now this time, let's not bring Krishna into picture. I will ensure that your son who you have lost, I will ensure that the child comes back to you." Now here again, now the 10th child was born. Now Arjuna was puffing with pride. He felt that in front of Yama or so, he can do anything. So that's when what happens is, without telling the Lord, Arjuna goes to the Brahmana's house. And it seems that when the 10th child was to be born, when the Brahmana's wife was about to enter labor, it seems that Arjuna with his arrows created a shield or so along in the labor room, but so that the child's body cannot disappear. But still again, somehow the child's body disappeared, it seems. Still Arjuna did not give up. With his yogic powers also, he went in search of Yama, Indra, all other gods. He went in search, saw, he wanted to see where all these children were going. But finally he realized that all my efforts are in vain. That's when he could not face himself. He had a lot of guilt also. He was about to jump into fire. That's when the Lord comes and prevents him. And there, what happened is, at this time, what happened? The Lord, along with Arjuna, he rode on a very fast chariot, it seems, to a mountain called Loka Loka. Now, there it seems that the Lord wanted to actually show the right path to to Arjuna. That's when once they reached there, Arjuna actually saw the Lord on sleeping on the Adishesha along with goddess Mahalakshmi also. Also, you had Brahma, Lord Shiva there, the Veda scriptures also. And looking at this point, it seems that the Lord and Lord's friend Arjuna, both of them, they bowed down to this form of the Lord. Now, why did Krishna worship this form as Krishna Avataram, wherein the Lord wanted to show a path to Arjuna. So, therefore, whatever Arjuna had to do, the Lord also himself did. So, Lord also ended up prostrating in front of this form, wherein there what happened is that divine form that they saw there actually the Lord who was there, Lord Narayana, who was actually there now in that mountain. All those sons of those Brahmanas were there, wherein the ultimate Lord who was sitting there on Adishesha along with Goddess Mahalakshmi, Brahma or Shiva, that Lord tells both Arjuna and Krishna that you both are myself only. It's just that because you are in Bhulokam, you seem different. Otherwise, apart from that, you both are one and the same. And to meet both of you should come here. I myself, that is I, the Lord of the three worlds, I took away the sons of the Brahmana. Now you may take them back. So again, just a Leela of the Lord that is there. With this, the Lord, ultimate Lord Narayana gave away the children to Krishna, as well as that's when Arjuna was also there. Arjuna became very happy because he got darshana of Narayana. Finally, what happened is like this: there were many other leelas which were being done. The entire Vrishni Kulam, Yadav Kulam was made very happy. The Lord did lot of leelas, sacrifices, yagas also. And now, finally, what happened is now, Narada in those days, it seems that because Krishna was living in Dwaraka, Narada also used to frequently visit and many times he used to stay in Dwaraka Puri also. Because in Dwaraka, if you see, all the people who were there, they were continuously worshipping the Lord, and Narada was, he used to like places or people where they used to do bhakti and so on. So, therefore, everywhere Narada used to ensure that he is present, and that's when it seems that Uddhava. Uddhava also was there in Dwaraka. Uddhava got enlightenment from the Lord, and that's when, as told by the Lord, Uddhava goes to Badrikashramam, and it is believed that Adhuna aste vadaryam. Bhattatri says Adhuna, that is even now, even till date, it is believed that Uddhava lives in Badrikashramam. So that's the reason why we go to Badrikashramam. That is today's Badrinath Dham. It is said that at least for some time we must meditate on the Lord because Uddhava is believed to be doing that till date for the benefit of the world. Finally, Krishnavataram was Bhattatri concludes Soyam Krishnavataраha Jayati Tava Vibho. Thus, finally, O Lord, your avatara, your form in the your avataram as Krishna shines in all ways. You have blessed innumerable devotees. You have showered your grace on so many people. You have helped so many people overcome their sorrows. You have helped so many people attain oneness with you. Let it be you develop friendship with someone. Some of them develop bhiti towards you, like Kamsa, Shishupala, and so on. Some of them developed love and affection towards you, like the Gopikas. Some of them developed hatred towards you, again Kamsa, Shishupala, and so on. Some of them had a lot of attachment towards you, the Gopikas, and so many other ways. So by using all kinds of emotions, some or the other way, let it be hatred, fear, attachment, love, but some or the other ways, or in the case of Sudama, it was friendship. Uddhava, it was friendship. So in so many ways, people ensured that they were near you also, and you helped all of them. Let it be even the Rakshasas, Kamsa, Shishupala, Putana, or so on. Even though they had hatred towards you, you killed them and you gave them moksha. Others, the Gopikas, Balarama, and so on, they had affection and love towards you. You blessed them by showering the same and you made them happy. Similarly, O Lord, Bhakti Purtyai cha bhuyaha. Therefore, O Lord of Gurvayur, please ensure that you free me from my ailments also. Your this birth or your avataram as Krishna has taken place to develop full bhakti and full devotion towards you. The same thing I am also trying to do. Please free me from my ailments. Dashakam 88 comes to an end. Could everyone follow? Yes? Okay. Dashakam 89, let's start. Now here, little, now 89 onwards till 100, Bhattatri gets a bit philosophical now. It's but natural now, all the leelas of the Lord are done, Krishna Avataram is almost end. Now Bhattatri says, now it's high time, right? Last 88 days he's suffering, he's calling out to the Lord. Though the Lord of Guruvayur is every day nodding his head, giving us assurance, but still the ailment is not going away. The Lord also has not given his darshana yet. That's when now he says, okay, now the last 10 dashakams that are there, of course, he didn't know that on the 100th day the Lord will come. But the last dashakams, if you see, they don't merely talk about the leelas of the Lord, they talk about utmost philosophy. Wherein Bhattatri says that if easy bhakti margam, your glory stories also don't make you happy, I will also talk about other disciplines that are there. That's when he says that Rama jane jane yadi hatava bhakte vibhavo. Bhattatri says, now I have realized one thing, O Lord of Rama, that it is not easy to make you happy at all. Now it is his own experience, right? Last 88 days he's suffering. He says it is not easy. Or devotees cannot make you happy easily in this world. I know this because many times in the case of human beings, what happens is there's a lot of pride that comes in. Now you take our own example. One day you do something. Say for example, we do even a small paranam or so. You end up telling the entire world that I did this, I did that, and so on. It's but natural. Maybe we don't tell with a sense of pride, but automatically little pride comes in. It's part of human nature. And you who are there, oh Lord, what you do is somehow you ensure that people you make people understand, or you remove this quality of pride from people and so on. So even those who are, they are passionate or they have a lot of pride also, somehow you bless them also by removing their pride by some or the other, you can say some experience you give, like in the case of all of us also. If you take, at times when we are puffing with pride, maybe some incident will come in or some person comes in who puts our pride down, right? That minute we realize that all this I was jumping up and down, everything is useless. Such incidents do come, and it is like a lesson. So, Bhattatri, what he concludes is Bhavadi Yachyuti Katha. Therefore, for the sake of your devotees, you ensure that you don't bring about the downfall of any devotee. Let a devotee be proud, or let a devotee be a normal devotee, having no vices, bad qualities. You ensure that all your devotees are benefited only. That's the reason you take the example of Ajamila. Unconsciously, also, he called out to his son Narayana. No doubt he had done some good karma before. That's the reason he could call out, but to him also you gave him moksha. Further, O Lord, Brahma, Shiva, and others, Bhattatri says, they are all easily pleased. Ashutoshi, that we call to Lord Shiva. At the same time, they get angry also very easily. And they are all worshipped by people. And this is where, like in the case of Vrikasura, like this, there are many asuras wherein you can say, now in the case of Shiva and Brahma, Shiva and Brahma are known for giving boons to asuras. Whereas asuras have a, you can say, evil eye towards Vishnu. Why this happens is Vishnu does not get pleased that easily. That is, he thinks very clear over what should be done. For Brahma and Shiva, it is not at all so. Someone comes and prays to me, I will bless them. Further, what happens? We know Vishnu is there, right? So, of course, it is not again a comparison that is done. But here, because Bhattatri is showing utmost devotion to the Lord, he tries to show this differentiation. Now, here it doesn't mean that Shiva is up or Brahma is low, Vishnu is up, and so on. Nothing of that sort. He's just trying to show a comparison that is there. Now, this Vrikasura who is there, he once asked Narada, it seems, Shakune Jassatu Naradam. This Vrikasura's father was Shakuni, not the Shakuni that whom we know, as far as what I know. But I don't think it is the same Shakuni from the Mahabharata reference. We will have to check this. Let's see. Now, this Vrikasura, once he comes to Narada and says that you tell me which lord is one. Now, there are some references which maybe in the Mahabharatam reference we have to check. There are some references which say that this Vrikasura is the son of Shakuni from Mahabharata. So that way you can consider. If I'm not wrong, Shakuni had one more son. His name was Uluka. Uluka and Vrikasura. Yeah. So both of them you can consider as Shakuni's sons. They all belong to Gandhara Desham. Gandhara Desham, today's Afghanistan, Pakistan area. So that's when this Vrikasura, once he asked Narada, that which god should I worship, or which is the god who can be pleased very easily. That's when Narada says our Lord Shiva is Ashutoshi, and therefore you can please him easily. But whereas our Vishnu who is there, Natu Bhavantam Abandhum Asadushu. Our Vishnu who is there, he is not supportive towards evil-minded people. So maybe you can try pleasing Lord Shiva. That's when this Vrikasura did a lot of tapasya also, and somehow he appeared in front. Lord Shiva appeared in front of him, and immediately Lord Shiva, he sought a very, you can say, a very cruel boon that is there, that on whosever head I will keep my hand, that person should die immediately. So therefore here Bhattatri says, Jagannathat vavre bhavati vimukanam kwa shubadhihi. Shubadhihi. Dhihi buddhi. Shubha is good buddhi. That is, for evil-minded people, how much ever tapasya or how much ever good you do, still sadbuddhi will never come to these people. He has done so much of penance for so many days, but ultimately, what did he ask? That on whosever head I keep my finger, that person should die. You do so much of penance, you end up asking this way. For evil-minded people, this is how thoughts come in. Finally, here what happened is, like now, after getting this boon, this Vrikasura was such an evil person, he ended up running towards Shiva only. Shiva only has given him his boon, but he wanted to test that. He rushed towards Shiva. Shiva ran in all directions. Now everyone, now this is again a leela of the Lord only. Everyone in the whole world kept quiet. That's when the Lord saw from far that the Lord Shiva was about to come to him. That's when, in the form of a clever brahmachari, Patu Vatu Vapusha, he waited very patiently for this Asura. Now, here at this time, what happened is that Brahmachari was there. Lord in the form of the Brahmachari goes near Vrikasura and tells that, why are you running here and there in order to test the boon that you have got? Don't you have faith? If so, you test by placing your fingers on your head only. And in that pride that was there, this Asura, Vrikasura, ended up keeping the fingers on his own head and he fell down dead into ashes. So, such is the fate of the people, wherein here Shulinaha apitam eva, meaning for Shulinaha, another name for Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva also, you have helped Lord Shiva also attain moksha here. Now, Vaishnavanam Shivaha, one amongst the greatest devotees of the Lord Vaishnavas is Lord Shiva. Similarly, the Kurma Avataram, Srimad Bhagavatam, both of them give this reference. Similarly, Lord Shiva, Krishna also, Krishna, Rama, Vishnu also continuously keeps worshipping, has a lot of respect towards Shiva. So this was one incident wherein the Lord rescued, the Lord saved even Shiva. Now, next incident, what happened is once on the banks of the river Saraswati, along with sage Brigu, there were other sages who were there. Now, here if you see, now those sages who were there, they told Brigu that we will give you a task. What is that task? Among the three gods, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, you should tell us who is more, you can say, sattvic also, more inclined towards sattva guna. That's when Brigu, he goes to Brahma and he tries to show disrespect also. That's when Brahma, he he got angry, but he controlled himself. Next, he went to Shiva and behaved in the same manner. He showed disrespect towards Shiva. Shiva was almost, you can say, eager to kill him, but somehow he was also controlled by Parvati. Finally, Brigu comes to the Lord. Now, here the Lord was sleeping on Goddess Mahalakshmi's lap. Here, what did Brigu do? Brigu ended up kicking the Lord on his chest with his feet. That's when the Lord, what he did in this case, he was sleeping, right? Immediately he got up, he startled and he got up, he asked for pardon. He says, sorry, I didn't realize such a great sage has come and so on. And he said that this mark that you have given on my chest, that will always remain on my chest as a decoration also. Here is when all the sages who were there and Brigu, they decide that Vishnu was only having the, you can say that most, is that more, sorry, Vishnu is the one having Sattva Gunam. He is Sattvic in nature. The Brigu returns back to the sages who were assembled in river Saraswati. And that's when they all also develop devotion towards the Lord. And of course, these are all mere leelas that are there. Later, we know how Goddess Mahalakshmi was born as a daughter of Brigu. That's how she gets the name Bhargavi. That's when finally Dashakam 89 Bhattatri concludes by saying that, O Lord, in the beginning of the universe, your praises also were sung by the Vedas. Your that ultimate consciousness, ultimate happiness also. Even the Gopikas also have sung your glories. So therefore, O Lord of Gurvayur, Pavanapuravasin Paribhaje Paritapashantyai. I pray to you intensely from the bottom of my heart that you please free me from all my sorrows. You have helped not only other devotees who are there, you have helped not only asuras, you have also helped your fellow gods like even Shiva, Brahma, Indradi Devas also. Then why aren't you showering your grace on me? Please free me from my ailments. With this, Dashakam 89 comes to an end. Now in Dashakam 90, Vrika Vrika Muni Mohinnambari Shadi. Now here various forms of the Lord are described like some incidents which we saw in the last Dashakam also, like the incident of Brigu coming to meet Vishnu, then Mohini Avataram, then Ambarisha Charitam. Bhattatri says that all these episodes that are there, they prove that you are the ultimate Lord, and there is no difference or there is no doubt in this at all. You are the ultimate Lord, only you are the essence of everything. And now here if you see Murtitrayeshwara Sada Shiva Panchakams here. Now in Shaivas, that is in Shaivism, there are five aspects, it seems. What are those five aspects? Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Ishvara, and Sadashiva. Sadashiva is meaning the Lord only. That is, Sadashiva is for another name for Lord Vishnu, the supreme being. Whereas in Vaikuntham, there is only one Ishvara, that is Vishnu. So therefore, if you see here, actually, you can see in this verse that is there, Shloka 2, Dashakam 90, you can actually see a comparison that is done between Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma. More than comparison, it is said that all three are one and the same. That is the three forms of Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. They assume different parts in Satyalokam. That's the reason we have so many gods, also we worship so many uh, gods, demigods, goddesses, and so on. But ultimately, we all end up worshipping one and only one supreme being. Now, Vishnu is a form of sattva. That's the reason all the Vaishnavite Puranas are called Sattvic Puranas. Brahma is a form of Rajas. Rajasic Puranas are the Brahma Puranas. Whereas Shankara has lot of Sattva Gunam, but tamas little expresses in the activities. That's the reason if you see Shivali lives with Bhutaganas, he has a garland of skulls and skeleton, this, that. So therefore, little bit of tamas comes in. Tamas should not be taken here in a negative aspect. That is how the nature of the world is, right? One is responsible for creation, Brahma. Second is for maintenance, Vishnu. And for Layaha, destruction is Shiva. So therefore, though Lord Shiva has got lot of Sattva Utkattattvam meaning it's the highest peak. Lord Shiva has got Sattva Gunam because he's continuously meditating, but little bit because of the activities here, Tamo Gunam comes in. Further, everyone, along with Lord Shiva also, everyone start worshipping you, they start chanting your names also, and we have many proofs. Ati Dridam Bahunaf Pramanam. There are a lot of proofs in this. Now, this Dashakam mainly talks about the unity between Shaivism and Vaishnavism. There is no difference at all. There are many people who call themselves as Shaivites, Vaishnavites also. They'll not worship. They are a Shaivite, they'll not worship Vishnu. If they are a Vaishnavite, they'll not worship Shiva. All this ultimately doesn't matter. Vishnu himself ends up worshipping Shiva. Shiva himself ends up worshipping Vishnu. Greatest of Vaishnavas is Shiva. Greatest of Shaivites is Krishna. More than this, we don't need anything. And of course, there are many other proofs also that are there. Various Puranas give reference, this, that, so many instances. But Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tatulyam Rama Nama Varanane. Ishvara, Lord Shiva tells us to Parvati that those who cannot chant the entire Vishnu Sahasranama, chanting Ramanama thrice gives the entire phalan. There you have the Katapayadi Sankhya calculation that is done. Rama, Rama, the letter, every letter that is there, Aksharam, in Sanskrit has got a number. When you multiply that, it is actually 1,000, right? So 10, 10, 10, it becomes 1,000. That is ra and ma. The placement is actually 5, 2. That way you multiply 5 into 2, 10, 10 plus 10 plus 10, 10 into 10 into 10, 1,000. That's how. Let's not go deep into the calculation now. So that's how chanting Ramanama so many times, that is chanting the shloka is equal to getting the fruit of chanting the entire Vishnu Sahasranama. Similarly, in the Brahma Vaivarta Puranam, Krishna gives the shloka Mahadeva, Mahadeva, Mahadeveti, meaning like Shiva told in the Mahabharata, Vishnu Sahasranama. Similarly, Krishna and the Brahma Vaivarta Puranam gives a reference that chanting the names of Mahadeva thrice will ensure that all desires are fulfilled, all kinds of fortune comes in, all kinds of sins get washed away, and so on. Like this, there are so many references that come in. I'm just giving you few examples, right? Similarly, the Rameshwara Linga during Rama Avatara, Ramasya Ishwaraha Rameshwaraha. Lord Shiva tries to call himself saying that the Lord of Rama is me, Rameshwara. Rama does not like to call this way. He says, Ramaha, sorry, I told the other way around. Ramasya Ishwaraha Rameshwaraha, meaning Lord of Rama is Lord Shiva. Rama tries to call Lord Shiva this way. Lord Shiva does not like this. Therefore, he puts another definition. Ramaha yasya Ishwaraha Rameshwaraha. That whose Lord is Rama, that is me, Rameshwara. So both of them show their humility again. Again, a proof that there is no difference between Shiva and Vishnu. So Bhattatri also stresses upon this point. Further, Sri Shankaropi Bhagavan. Here Shankaropi Bhagavan actually refers to Adi Shankaracharya. So here Bhattatri says that Adi Shankaracharya also, he honors all your forms. That's the reason you be in the form of Shiva, Vishnu, whoever it is. He favors everything. Sahinamas Ahasrakam. And he is not one who favors any one devotee. Yahina Pakshapati. Yafnahi Pakshapati. So Shankaracharya also is an acharya who did not show any Pakshapata. That is, he did not show any favor to any one god, to everyone. Let it be the goddess, let it be Shiva, let it be Vishnu. Apart from that, so many other philosophical texts, let it be Vedanta, Vedas, on everything. He has given his contribution, and towards the end also he attained Samadhi, singing the Lord's praises only. Further, Shankaracharya also praises all three gods together, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, in a text called Prapanchasara. This Bhattatri gives this reference here, wherein he says that Mortetrayati Gamavuvacha Mantra Shastra. And here he says that, now basically all this is a bit of philosophical topics, wherein he considers the Lord only to be the object of meditation while chanting the Pranava Mantram also. Further, there is a text called Purana Sangraham which talks about the gist of all the Puranas. There also the Lord's supremeness or greatness is seen. Then wherein again all the three gods, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, occupy a good place. Everyone has got their important place. Vaikuntham is also described there. Further, a reference comes wherein to Brahma also you had shown, you have revealed your form, which is again described in the second skandam of Srimad Bhagavatam. Madhavacharya. Madhavacharya, Jagat Shri Madhavaha Shivaparopi Purana Sare. Madhavacharya also, a great acharya, who was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. He has referred to the ultimate form of ultimate form which was shown to Brahma by the Lord in his text Purana Saraha. Further, people are devoted to worship Lord Shiva. Yeah. Now, just as for Shiva's Ashutoshi also, similarly here also for Vishnu too. Naturally, bhakti, when it is developed, you do a lot of, you can say, worship this, that. Devotion to Vishnu also increases, and the Lord blesses all of us. Further, there is something called Arthavadaha. The small concepts are covered in this Dashakam 90. Now, the main point of writing Dashakam 90, now you see in Dashakam 90, so many topics I told you. Reference to Madhavacharya, reference to Shankaracharya, and so on. So, Bhattatriya wants to put a point saying that it's not that I am alone. There have been so many fellow acharyas, fellow bhaktas who have made their contribution. He feels in these two Dashakams, if you see, right, from the last two, three Dashakams we are seeing, wherein he tries to show or he tries to include one more topic, that so many topics I described. Talked about your avatars, talked about your form, I talked about Krishna Leela stories. Let me also talk about the union between gods. Maybe then you will be pleased. So whatever Bhattatri knows, everything he tries to include in this text. Next is verse number 10. Talks about Atharvavadam. Arthavadam. Now, what exactly is Arthavadam? Now, in those times, if you see, a very common way for people to show their knowledge was through debate. It can be a friendly debate, of course. The most famous debate between Mandara Mishra and Adi Shankaracharya. So, wherein it was not to show each other one's knowledge and be proud of it, it was mainly an exchange of thoughts you can consider and to learn from the other. That was one thing. Moreover, acharyas like Shankaracharya also, whenever the opposite person who was debating had a wrong opinion about things, it is very important to correct also. Now, it's not that why should I go and correct someone, it's not in that way, but you cannot preach wrong things to the world. So a very very important step of being an acharya or being a learned person is to show the right way. So they try their best to show the right way by saying that, what, very politely, by having a friendly debate, very politely they try to show to the opposite person that whatever you're believing or whatever you're preaching, there is something which is wrong. there is a different opinion to it. I have my own explanation. Let me tell you that. Then last, yathechasi tatha kuru. Towards the end, you decide what you want to do. Because one is, I know something, it can be wrong. That is going to harm me, no doubt. But the same wrong thing, if I end up teaching others, it becomes more dangerous, right? Because natural human tendency, whatever is something which is wrong, or so wrong practices are something which spread very easily in the society. Good practices are something which take a lot of time. So therefore, having such debates, Mandana Mishra, Adi Shankaracharya is very famous. Apart from that, also there are many debates. Ramanujacharya has taken up many. So like this is Arthavadam. Why these are made is, one is, there are certain statements which are made with a lot of exaggeration. It will be a very small thing that will be put and shown as a big picture. That is one. Second is, as told in the Shastras, in the scriptures, it is mentioned. Same thing I'm telling you. That is one thing. Third is, there can be something what is mentioned. Apart from that, I will tell you my own experience. This is one thing. So, on based on all such topics, one is, whatever fact exists, based on that, I will exaggerate that and tell. Second is, as given in the Shastras, in the same way I'll tell. Third is, whatever is given contradictory or contrary to that, based on some of my experience, I'll tell you something. So like this, if you see, when different points are put, subject matter becomes more interesting. Bhattatri also appreciates this. Like now, say for example, let's take any topic. Now the same Dashakam 90, right? Now the way I am telling you, it is my understanding of telling, right? Moreover, if you want, you can just read the translation or the gist also of Dashakam 90 and move about. Then this is one that is directly you read from the book as given in the scriptures. Now maybe you listen to someone else telling, like maybe you listen to me, you maybe listen to two, three more people. You see now all the two, three people whom we are speaking, the subject matter remains the same, but the way of putting will be different. Now the way I explain or the way third person explains, there will be a difference in that. Maybe a third person is more learned also. They will try to show, they will maybe exaggerate a bit, but they'll try to make the topic a bit interesting. You might understand more. Now, in my case, if you see, maybe the way I explain that might not be very apt, or maybe it might be very loose also, or not very much connected with the subject matter. It can be anything, right? So, when two or three people talk about the same topic, the explanation is different because everyone has their own way of interpreting. But Bhattatri says that this is nothing but Arthavadam. That's the reason we had the birth of commentaries or Tikakaras, who are there, commentators, or those who used to write a Tika, like critiques. Like on the Ramayanam, we have two, three very famous Tikakaras, Tilakacharya, Govindacharya, and so on. They have written their explanation. Now, it's not that they change the Ramayana. They will not make Rama Ravana. It's not that way. The same story they will portray it in an interesting manner. So, maybe small facts here and there are not mentioned in the Valmiki Ramayana. They will add that. So, it makes more the topic more interesting. Or maybe Bhasa, a great Sanskrit scholar, considering the Ramayana story as the base, he puts in his own imagination there and writes. Now, there is a difference in Tikakaras and poets who are there. Poets can use their imagination. Tikakaras can use their imagination only to a certain level, not more than that. Tikakaras mainly on the main subject, they just write their, maybe they explain it further. That's it. Like maybe now the Shakam 90 is told, I am trying to explain it to you further, right? It's not written anywhere, nor have I written it somewhere. Whatever is coming to my mind, I'm telling you. So the same, I'm not changing the meaning. The same thing I'm explaining or elaborating more. So this is Tikakara. That is my opinion or my way of understanding, I'm telling. Whereas poets like Bhasa also, they little try to use their imagination and they try to make the text more interesting. Such topics are not real. They might not be real. They might not be. Some can be real also. Because a poet has got the freedom to use his imagination. So there is a small difference between Tikakaras and poets. So further, this is Arthavadam. Now, in the Skanda Puranam also and various Puranas, if you see, there are many contradictory statements, right? And all this, of course, has been destroyed by you, O Lord. You have been the savior in every situation. Finally, Bhattatri concludes that Yat kinchidapya vidushapi vibho mayoktam. The Lord, though I am an ignorant person, I don't have much knowledge. Little, whatever I have said, it is as per Mantra Shastras. Bhagavatam is the essence of all the sayings of Vyasacharya, and your glories, your excellences are sung in Srimad Bhagavatam. I have tried to comprise, I've tried to include all that in this text of Narayanam. Please, Kleshan Viduya Kuru Bhakti Bharam Paratman. Please remove all my ailments. So, and establish, even in this situation also, Bhattatri prays to the Lord that Kuru Bhakti Bharam Paratman. After removing, that is by removing my ailments, I need one more thing. Please instill Bhakti in me. Bhakti is not there, there is no use. So, even in that situation also, Bhattatri prays to the Lord that you have to remove my ailments. Along with that, you please instill devotion and bhakti towards you also. With this, Dashakam 90 comes to an end. Could everyone follow? Yes? Okay. Dashakam 91. Shri Krishna Tvat Padopasanam. Now here again, finally, Bhakti Margam towards the Lord is described. Bhattatri says, O Lord Krishna, I believe that worshipping or worship that is done to your feet, that is the most, you can say, the highest level of showing bhakti to you, and it also removes all kinds of bhayam. And for all people who are suffering from some or the other kind of problems, of course, Bhattatri includes his own experience, says that only worshipping and surrendering to your feet is the only way of attaining mukti. And by devotion to you in every way, whatever has been taught by you in the Gita also, all that I believe, all that people like me have to follow. And a person who is very much steady in his devotion, api avrita akshaha, even in his sleep also, he will not suffer from any kinds of problems. Even if he falls down somewhere, falls down in the sense, if he goes on the wrong path or so, or if some obstacles come in his way, still the Lord will come to his rescue. So therefore, for this is for a person who is always on the path of bhakti margam. Further, Bhattatri says that all my actions that I do, all karma, by my karmana, vacha, kriya, that is action, body, deha, shariraha, speech, vak, mind, chittam, whatever I do, whatever I say, whatever I do, whatever I think, everything should be prompted by you only, O Lord. I offer and dedicate all that to you also. And to whom do I offer? I offer it to you, O Lord, who has established yourself in Guruvayur. A person might belong to a low category also. Now, when I say low category, here Bhattatri, now does it mean that caste system existed then also? Of course, though we would have not called it a caste system, still, like in every society, there have been people who look upon each other, oh, he belongs to so and so and so on. So, this was very much common. Or maybe even in qualities also, we make a comparison, right? Oh, he's great, he is very much low, he doesn't know anything, he's ignorant, he's dull. We keep teasing people so much. So, Bhattatri says that in front of you, O Lord, now you go to any place also or for worshipping the Lord, there are no, you can say, restrictions, and you do this way, you do that way. All if there are restrictions, all that is man-made. Lord has never mentioned in any scriptures that so and so person cannot do this and so on, right? So therefore, it is Bhattatri says that it is all our lowly man human nature that is there which tries to show this, and even in our bhakti also we differ, but in front of you, O Lord, our bhakti that is there should be utmost, and all our speech, mind organs, sense organs should be controlled also, and all our energies that are there, everything should be directed to you, and therefore you, O Lord, will rescue all of us. Now here further he says that, O Lord, I will try to control my mind by not going on the wrong path also. You please bless me with what? Buddhyanirundham. Buddhyanirundha. What is this Buddhyanirundha? Is something called the discrimination power. Now all of us are blessed with buddhi, right? Intelligence. This is blessed. This is given to every human being, every normal human being, every human being who is born normal. But using that intelligence is something which is there in us, each one of us, we should do that. Now how you will do this? Now you look at something, right? Say for example, you are moving on the road also, there is water on the road, or there is something spilt on the road. Automatically we know, okay, I should not stamp over this and go, so we walk by the side and go. Who told you this? There is something through experience also we learn, or maybe our elders, teachers, or someone would have told, or maybe right from childhood, I have always seen that whenever something is spilled, nobody walks over it and go by the side. Or there can be a third reason. Maybe once or twice I went over that, I would have slipped and fallen as a child. Now the third time I'll never walk over this. So what is this? This is nothing but discriminative intelligence. You call it in English. Let's not use such terms. Is a right discrimination power to know what to do and what not to do. So all this comes through experience. So therefore, this is just one example. It is to do what is good and to not do what is bad. For this, I should know what is good as well as what is bad, right? Like something, say for example, stealing or any bad quality. If you see, if you know what is stealing, if you know that is wrong, then you will not do. Whereas for a small child or so, for them everything is common, right? That's the reason they will throw things, they'll do this, they'll do that. But as a child, if you don't correct them, as a child, all of us, we have been told so many things. If those things were not told, we'll not know that such things are bad. Therefore, oh Lord, now these are all small things in life. Just as I am taught this discrimination power, similarly, oh Lord, when I'm developing bhakti towards you, you please bless me with the right discrimination power so that I can segregate. I'll know what is good, I'll know what is bad. Therefore, I'll always do only good things. So you please bless me with that so that Maya or illusion cannot come and affect me. Further, by developing Satatam Anubhujan Ishabhitim Vijahyam Anubhajan, then by constantly developing bhakti towards you, I will be able to overcome all my fears. Now, how does bhakti come into people? Bhattatri says that bhakti is generated in people, and how does it grow? Bhakti utpatti vriddhi tavacharana rusham sangamene pumsam sangamam satsangam. It develops only when people around us also have the same mentality. So therefore, satsangam, being associated with good people, is something which who have got the same thoughts like me. Only then bhakti develops. So please bless me with the right people always. And more than wealth, Bhattatri says that more than wealth and prosperity, association with good people, that is satsangam, is something which is the greatest wealth. If satsangam is there, automatically I will attain all other wealth and prosperity. So may I always have the best association. Tatsanga deva bhuyat mama khalu satatam. May I always have the best satsangam, which helps me in developing lot of devotion towards you, which will eradicate all my sins. I will always be able to listen to your glories, your stories, and so on, which are sung by my fellow devotees. Further, amongst the various paths that are there, Jnana Yoga, Sannyasa Yoga, and so on, Bhakti Margam is considered to be the most preferred margam. And by being on this path, Bhattatri promises to the Lord saying that I will always sing your glories, I'll do all kinds of good actions, whatever you have done in your various incarnations, I will remember that, I will listen to those stories, I'll keep chanting your names also. At times in that bhakti, I may laugh out loud or I may cry out like a madman and so on. That is, I will not be able to control my emotions in bhakti. All this I will do, but for that, first you have to remove all my ailments. Further, I'll balance my mind. I'll have a control over my sense organs. I will, and then I'll balance my mind with bhakti. I'll always be at your service. I'll try to realize that ultimate form of your reality and so on. Just as swallowing. Now, if you see for a hungry person, if they have food in front of them, the first morsel that you put inside your mouth, that gives us a sense of satisfaction, right? Similarly, for me also, just by regaining my health back, once I start developing bhakti towards you, oh Lord, it will be like that sense of satisfaction for a hungry man. Further, the various sufferings that are there in this world, let it be hunger, thirst, poverty, starting from this to any suffering that is there, my mind will not be affected by that. If I'm engrossed in bhakti towards you, I shall constantly think over your charanapadam, and even for a fraction of second, nimisha lavalam api, verse number 7, I will not be away from that, Bhattatri says. And I shall move about peacefully, just like the moon is cool everywhere, I will also be very much peaceful. Now, why all this Bhattatri is telling here is Bhattatri is on the verge. Like you see, for the last 90 days, he's putting so much of efforts in that suffering, in that pain. Now he doesn't know further what to do. That's when he gives like a promise to the Lord that I will do this, I'll do that, like we do, right? The Lord should bless me with this, we give a bribe. I'll do so much this, I'll donate so much, or something, we keep money, things like that. So it is each one's will and experience that we do. Like this Bhattatri here, he says that I will do what not for you, O Lord, but you please free me from my ailment so that I can develop bhakti for you. Now here we might feel that is Bhattatri being too selfish. Like only for his health is he doing. Is actually a leela that if Bhattatri had not done this, then today we would all not be blessed with this great text Narayanam. Moreover, it's not only for his health, but it was this the rogam that came to him was like a medium for him to compose Narayanam to attain the blessings of Lord Krishna. Further, Bhattatri says that it is maybe that I do not deserve to get the highest knowledge that is there, and therefore maybe it can happen that that's the reason why at present I'm not that capable of knowing about their ultimate form also. But the least that I can do is let me develop love and affection to my fellow human beings. Let me have always kindness that is there towards them. And may I always have the eagerness to show bhakti. This is something which is very, very important. Samarcha kutukam urutara. Verse number 8. Kutukam. Now you get up in the morning, oh, I have to do bhakti now. If we start this way, there is no use of doing bhakti, right? But yes, every day we get up with a new utsaham also. Okay, today there is a festival, something. I need to worship the Lord also, and maybe I need to celebrate Him. Then if that with that utsaham and happiness, if you do, then it is good. Otherwise, just for doing, someone told me to do for the sake of doing. If we do, it is useless. So this utsaham is also something which is very very important. Otherwise, most of us we do, but with what sense we do, that is also something which is important. So Bhattatri says, you please bless me with that kutuka, with that eagerness, with that happiness, enthusiasm to do bhakti every day, so that and let all people like me, it's not that I'm talking only about me, bhaktaloka uttamatvam, all the devotees who are there in this world who try to show bhakti towards you, may you bless them all with ultimate love that is there. Further, your maya is there in this world all around. Let me be able to overpower that maya, so that, and how will that over maya be overpowered? By showing tvatpade bhakti eva, by showing bhakti to your and by surrendering to you. Further, towards the end of this Dashakam 91, last verse, he says that, like me, around me, I've seen so many creatures. He doesn't even say human beings. Dukhani alokya jantushu. Creatures. There are so many creatures who are suffering from all kinds of miseries. Let them all be blessed with the right discrimination power. May I be blessed with a guru here, he says, Aham Acharya Varyat. And may from that Acharya may I receive the knowledge of your ultimate nature or so. May I listen to your glories, narrations, and so on. May I develop supreme bhakti towards you so that I can cross over Maya. After doing all this, I should be able to experience supreme bliss. Therefore, and to achieve all this, please remove my ailments. So this is the first step. Tasya ayam purvaha angaha pavanapurapate nashaya shesha rogan. The first step, if you remove my ailments, then I can do all the remaining things. So here Bhattatri also seeks blessings from the Lord to attain a spiritual master. With this, Dashakam 91 comes to an end.